Around WrestleMania 19 time, you had a lot of your stars were still there. You saw a lot of your favorite ones: Undertaker, Kurt Angle, The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, Brock Lesnar was there. I mean, a lot of guys. It was a stacked roster. I mean, one of my favorite rosters of all time. But the only downfall was you had guys like Kurt Angle was going out. He had to get his neck worked on. Stone Cold was at the end of his career. WrestleMania 19, one of his last matches that he was around. The Rock was off making movies 6 months a year. He was here, he was there. And just a weird time. Lots of guys were getting a chance in the business they never got before. Right before WrestleMania 19, they lined up everybody on the card. Obviously, WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year. They have to have the A+ card. My favorite wrestler, Triple H, drew the weak link. Somehow he drew Booker T. Triple H is my favorite wrestler of all time. I'll defend all of his matches. They're all good, but the Booker T one is really hard. so let's just move on from that. So the sort of almost the main feud because of that feud on Raw was Stone Cold versus The Rock. That's what they built up as the biggest one. But Stone Cold was having a lot of trouble with his personal life. His body was breaking down. He was basically about had a stroke. If you haven't seen the WrestleMania 20, there's a documentary on WrestleMania 19. It's called The Mania of Mania. They didn't even know the day of if Stone Cold was going to be able to have this match. He had what basically I would describe as a stroke or maybe even a mild heart attack. It was just basically just from not eating right, getting his body all juiced up on energy drinks, and got to the point where he had to go to the hospital the night before, and JR had to go get him out. And for some reason, the match must go on. I mean, in those conditions, I don't think I would have gone to work the next day. So I don't know how he could go on a stage of 54,000 people in Seattle and put on a show with put it on a show with The Rock at WrestleMania. I mean, of their 3 WrestleMania matches, it's not the best one, but it's still it's still a damn good match, and especially if that's your last match you're going to be hanging your hat on. But before that, to build their feud, what had happened was Stone Cold and The Rock had a calling out session in the ring. Basically, they set up they were going to have a match at WrestleMania, and once they set the match, then The Rock ran to Eric Bischoff, who was the general manager of Raw at the time, and basically Eric Bischoff made all these hoops and rules and stuff, like that the heel GM's supposed to do. Like, oh, you want The Rock? Well, you're gonna have to do this and this and that before you can do it. When the Rock was back in his dressing room, the Hurricane, the superhero, one of my favorite wrestling characters of all time. He's not my favorite wrestler, but he's my favorite wrestling character of all time. If that makes sense to you. He showed up because he stood for being a superhero and all that is good and pure in the WWE at the time, and basically just called The Rock out, and the Rock put it back in his place, but The Rock would leave holes, and Hurricane would jump back in, talking about his tiny ding-a-ling, and The Rock was running him down, saying that he couldn't beat Aquaman and all this, and then the Hurricane would be like, I know I can beat one superhero, I can beat the Scorpion King. But this is actually one of my favorite feuds. I'm going to put all the videos in the back. It was basically the Hurricane just kept on showing up in The Rock's dressing room, who had the nicest dressing room I'd ever seen in wrestling, but they just had funny reveals. The Rock went over to his dressing room where his locker was, and he pulled the curtain back, and the Hurricane was sitting in there. And he closed the curtain, and he was like, nah. And he opens it back up. He's like, how long you been sitting in there? And he's like, you've been watching The Rock walk around naked? Basically, The Rock, The Rock could have took it easy, and he came back from making movies. I think this is one of his last sort of full-time stints they had in the WWF. I know he came back for WrestleMania 20 with the Rock and Sock against Evolution, but I don't think he was there that much. So I think that actually this WrestleMania time he was there for the Stone Cold feud, and then he was there for the Goldberg feud at Backlash. And I think that after that he was basically done. So why he would come back as heel, I don't know, but you gotta give him props, man, because to get somebody over like that as the massive heel and still have the people hate you but love you at the same time is a lot of credit. I mean, that's sort of like when Brian Pillman went to ECW. It could have been so easy for him just to show up, smile, and wave, and all the fans would have loved him as a face. But he said that his goal when he got there was to make every single person in that building hate him, and he did. So why The Rock did it, I don't know, but that makes him better in my eyes. I know Luke Cage, one of his favorite wrestlers of all time. But basically, back to the Hurricane versus The Rock feud. You know, the Hurricane just filled the gap because Triple H wasn't able. No, I apologize. Stone Cold Steve Austin wasn't able to go at the time. You know, you just couldn't get the bumps down in the ring, and you have to have some sort of build up to a WrestleMania match. You just can't just have two guys standing around threatening each other, pointing their fingers like I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you. And like Stone Cold trying to hit the stunner, but you know he couldn't really take a rock bottom at the time. So I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, you can't just have the heel not beat down on the face. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think the Hurricane and Rock segment, which is supposed to be 1 week, but then the next week they had a #1 Contenders Battle Royal on Raw that was won by Booker T, where you know the Hurricane and the Rock actually met up in the middle of the ring, and you know they were fighting, and the pop for that was huge. It was better than any other interaction in the whole match. So I think they stuck with their guns, and they said I think the Hurricane's the way to go for the Rock. So after the Rock threw out the Hurricane, you know, then Booker T eliminated the Rock, and he got to go on. The Rock tripped. That's one of my favorite lines of all time. But you know, he just kept on showing up and pestering the Rock to the point where the Rock finally got him a match. It was the go-home match before WrestleMania. If you can imagine that, how you know you have a low mid-carder. The Hurricane is as good as I think he is. You know, he was never high on the card. He was never pushing the main event push. So he was way down here. Is against you know the highest talent in the company, let's say, and on a go-home match, and it's not a 3-minute squash match like you'll see a lot of other times. That's huge, and it's memorable. Why this match isn't on the 15 years of Raw DVD, or even some of the backstage segments are on there, I think is a crime. I think that they're some of the funniest and best stuff that WWE's put on in a long time. Basically, in the match, it was sort of started as a squash match. The Rock was wiping the ring with the Hurricane. The Hurricane got a few moves in here and there, and he actually went on a run. Then the Rock took it back over. Basically, then Stone Cold came down, distracted the Rock. Hurricane rolls up the Rock, and boom, he gets the pin. What is hysterical after the whole thing? The Stone Cold standing like halfway on the ramp. He's like halfway up, halfway down. Hurricane gets the pin, his music hits, and I swear within 5 seconds he's gone. He's already through the back. He barely put his hands up as he ran back there. He knew he was supposed to be gone. The focus isn't on him. The focus is on two guys that are standing out there, The Rock and The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I've done that twice. My apologies. But then you basically just had the showdown. To end the show, The Rock's in the ring, just stunned that he just lost. He's pissed that Austin made him lose, and Stone Cold's calling him out, saying like, "I'm gonna beat you for the 3rd time at WrestleMania." He said, "I beat you once, beat you twice. I'm gonna beat you 3 times." It's one of the best segments of all time. I'm gonna put the links in the bottom. If you get time today, check them out because they're funny. They're gonna make you laugh, I promise. And the match is good. And then there's also a bonus link when The Rock comes back a year later for WrestleMania 20. The Hurricane and Rosie meets him in the back. He calls him the Hamburglar, calls him Grimace, and basically they get along. The Rock says he respects him for what happened, and it's good. But WrestleMania 19, you get your build-up. You don't get the build-up, but you get the match Stone Cold versus The Rock. I talk about that again, but definitely pick up WrestleMania 20 if you don't have it. I'm sure everybody has these. Most of you. The Mania, it's a 45-minute documentary on WrestleMania. You're not going to get anything like this ever again. You can see how broken down Stone Cold is after the main event with the Brock and Kurt Angle. I mean, both of those guys are beaten up and pretty bruised. So it's something to watch, man. It definitely makes you think about people who think wrestling's fake. I don't know. After that, I mean, it might be all scripted and you know who's going to win, but if it's fake, you shouldn't be getting beat up like that. Steve